What if I told you everything you think you know about aspect ratios is wrong?
It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth.
When I first started playing CS2, I wanted to get every competitive advantage I could. So like most people, after looking up some pro settings, I noticed that every single pro played on 4x3. After finding that out, I spent about 1,500 hours playing on 4x3. Then randomly one day I decided to switch back to native, where I've now spent another 1,500 hours playing on. After switching back to native, I was able to reach over 2,600 elo on Faceit and was honestly surprised how much I liked playing on native. Because I've spent thousands of hours playing on different resolutions, I'm going to offer you some knowledge on why it really doesn't matter what resolution you're playing on. And for some of you, why playing on 4x3 may actually be hurting your gameplay more than it helps. If my opinion isn't enough to persuade you, I also ran some very eye-opening tests that you should consider when choosing which resolution to play on.
All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
But before we get into the details, let's quickly talk about the sponsor of today's video. SkinsMonkey. SkinsMonkey is a fully automated CS2 trading site. SkinsMonkey provides an instant way to get new skins. Along with that, they have a 24/7 live chat support, so if you run into any problems, they'll be right there to help you. If you're interested in finding a specific skin, you can use their search tool. Better yet, if you're not sure what skin you're looking for, you can use their filter tool to find exactly what you're looking for. If you use my promo code RyderDie, you can earn up to $5 for free. Trade up $100 to make the most of it. Now, if you don't want to trade your skins but you'd rather buy, SkinsMonkey is now offering a 30% deposit bonus. And if you use my promo code RyderDie, you'll receive an additional 5%. Remember, use code RyderDie to get up to $5 for free and claim your 35% deposit bonus. Thank you, SkinsMonkey, for sponsoring this video. We're going to fact check and run some tests on these ideas that the community has made about resolutions, but the main argument why people play on 1280 by 960 or 4x3 is because player models appear bigger on their screen. However, in exchange for this increase in size, the models are also going to move much faster. Along with this, 4x3 will greatly reduce your display clarity, which can in some instances give you a disadvantage. But the biggest downfall to 4x3 is your field of view. Playing 4x3, or stretched as some people refer to, will do just that. Stretch the image being displayed so you'll have a reduced field of view in comparison to someone who plays on 16:9. Coming from someone who played 4x3 for a long time, this isn't really something you'll feel the negative effect on too much, but now that I'm playing 16:9, every single day that I play, I see one of my teammates experience a 4x3 moment. And what I mean by this is, someone will appear in my peripherals while I spectate someone, but because my teammate is playing on 4x3, they don't. There's something though I do want to acknowledge when it comes to the benefit of playing 4x3, and that is performance. Because the image being displayed on your monitor is being downscaled, you'll get more frames per second than someone who plays on the exact same settings and hardware, but playing on native 16:9. So in my opinion, the only true reason why someone should be playing on 4x3 is one of two things. One, they've been playing on 4x3 for years, and a change in resolution will likely affect them far more than a newer player. Or two, their computer doesn't have the strength to run the game on 16:9 or native while producing adequate frames to play competitively. A good example of someone like this is Austin CS, who put out a short addressing why he plays 4x3.
The reason that I use 4x3 is because when I first started playing the game, I actually had a really bad PC, and I found that playing in like 4x3 resolution would give me more FPS.
Then I did a little bit of digging and some research of my own. I decided to compare the frames I would get under identical settings, but different resolutions. For reference, I have an AMD Ryzen 9 7950X3D and 32 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM clocked at 6400 megatransfers per second and a 4070 Ti Super. My first test was in T-Spawn on Train, a map a lot of people have been complaining about due to performance issues, which is likely due to the very cool rain that they added. Anyway, in T-Spawn, 16:9 produced an average of 343 frames per second, while 4x3 produced 365 frames per second. CT-Spawn on Train while running 16:9 gave me 413 frames per second, while 4x3 yielded 420. Then on Long, 16:9 gave me 485 frames per second, and 4x3 gave me 495 frames per second. Overall, the benchmark I ran on this map resulted in 4x3 giving me slightly more frames in different parts of the map. But then I decided to move on to another map that doesn't have the same bad reputation of poor performance like Train does. On A side of Mirage, I got 465 frames on both 4x3 and 16:9, which was strange, but then I tried 16:10 to see if I could produce a different result, and it also averaged out to be 465 frames per second. I restarted my computer, ran the same test, and got the same results. So then I decided to do somewhat of a stress test to see how the frames would fluctuate on the three of these resolutions, and what was remarkable is that all of them performed relatively the same. with similar lows and similar highs in frames per second. The result of this kind of shocked me, and it's very possible I may have messed something up along the way, but I'm not so sure that I did. Maybe you could produce different results if you have worse hardware than me, but from my perspective and my test results, it doesn't seem like stretch really gives you all that much of a performance increase. Moving on to the clarity test. This is one of the biggest reasons why I continue to play on native resolution. Not only does the appearance of the game look better, there are certain scenarios where playing on native actually gives you a distinct advantage. An example of this is on Inferno. While playing on CT side and peeking down T stairs, if you're on 4x3, you'll clearly see something of what looks like a blob of a T's head. To a more experienced player and someone who plays regularly on this resolution, that may not be a problem. But once we switch to 16:9, not only can we clearly see the T's head, but now we can distinguish where their shoulders stop and their head begins. And this can make it easier for newer players to recognize that there is in fact someone there. And another example of this is on Dust 2. I placed a T agent in top mid where only their Glock was sticking out. On 16:9, you can clearly see that there is indeed something there. And as the T agent moves slightly as their idle pose moves, you can tell that the pixels slightly change. But overall, for a trained eye, there is always something there to spot. However, once we switch to 4x3, that isn't really the case. There are moments where the gun is clearly visible, but there's also moments where almost every pixel of the gun that is sticking out almost completely disappears. This comparison in clarity really isn't that big of a deal, and for someone that's playing on 4x3, there really isn't that much of a disadvantage. However, it is indeed something. But that also could be considered a trade-off for having bigger targets on your screen. But that isn't so much the case for something that people like to call 4x3 moments. Like I said earlier, every time I boot up my stream and start playing Face It, there is almost always a game that I play where I see something like this happen. This is a match I played about a week ago where the average elo of the lobby was 2,400. My team gets obliterated on CT side during an eco round, and my teammate almost gets snuck up on by a T that wants to knife him. The only reason why my teammate didn't get knifed was because I literally started screaming in voice chat telling him he was going to get knifed.
He's sure you're right, he's gonna knife you, he's sure you're right, look, you're right.
There are several instances where you can run into a 4x3 moment, and for reference, here's a comparison of the exact same bot placement and player placement, one being 4x3 and the other being 16:9. Here I ran a test running down Banana to see if I could spot a T hiding barrels. Not surprising, 4x3 misses it entirely and 16:9 catches a glance of the weapon. This, without a doubt, when we're comparing 4x3 to 16:9, is the biggest disadvantage. There's trade-offs for using both resolutions, but in reality, this is the biggest disadvantage when playing 4x3. I don't blame you if you don't give a shit that I switched to native a few months ago, but some players that I think you will care about are these guys. Everyone on the screen right now plays 16:9 in Tier 1 professional CS. And something that is even more remarkable is that Twist and Frozen both used to play 4x3 and have recently changed to 16:9 shortly after CS2 came out. I'm not exactly sure why Frozen and Twist changed to native, but I'm sure that this decision was not made lightly, considering that their financial future depends on their performance in game. So the reason why I titled this video the way I did was because I genuinely think that it truly doesn't matter what resolution you play on. I do find it quite annoying how there's a 4x3 supremacy among the community, who all find it strange if someone plays on 16:9, but honest to God, whatever resolution you play on is entirely your choice, which should be based on your preference. And if you're like me and you decide to change your resolution to match pro players, then I would seriously consider at least giving the resolution that you actually enjoy another chance. It may be the right fit for you. I hope you found the video helpful, and if you think my opinion is worthless and 4x3 is the better resolution, then be sure to leave a comment letting me know. But before I close out the video, I want to quickly shout out all the RyderDie YouTube members. You guys are awesome and the reason why I continue to make content, so thank you, seriously. But anyway, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with my content, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell to be notified. Thanks for watching.